So Bungie just released this blog article thing talking about legacy updating, so I thought let's read through it real quick and see what we have coming. So, Destiny 2 has been an evolving experience since day one. Compare the game at launch with how it is now, and many might not believe you're talking about the same game. Live service is funny like that, but it also means more room to play for our developers to create thriving worlds and create more creative ways the community can inspire what's next. Last week we talked about extensive changes to the evolution of build crafting. Today we're diving into how our in-game economy is changing, more into legacy focusing that has been talked about briefly, and giving a heads up to players about what's arriving and leaving, the loot pool of greatness and other rewards. So Umbral Engrams. Starting in Season 20, Umbral Engrams will no longer drop in Destiny 2, but don't worry, seasonal content will transition to using seasonal engrams. Okay. Any Umbral Engrams that the player may still have in their inventory after Season 20 begins will be decryptable by Rahul. That's pretty interesting. I don't have as much of an issue with this because Umbral Engrams have been almost as much a problem with my Postmasters blues. They just drop like crazy, so I don't have an issue with that. 801 is also selling Destiny 2 shaders. Also, I apologize if my voice sounds a little bit weird. Like, seasonal allergies have just been kicking my ass, so if I sound off, that's why. But 801 is also selling Destiny 2 shaders that have been unavailable for quite some time. 801 has wares if you have 10,000 Glimmer. I appreciate the Skyrim reference there. But keep in mind that she'll only be offering 3 shaders per week during Season 20. Here's what she'll be offering during Season 20. You guys can read through all this. Man, poor Ada. She doesn't even get mods anymore. She's literally just a shader dispenser now, apparently. Jeez. Talk about a downgrade. Vanguard and Nightfall focusing. Starting in Season 20, Commander Zavala will offer the ability for players to focus Vanguard weapons and armor. Vanguard will be the final of the core rituals to get comprehensive engram focusing options. Okay, Vanguard engrams. Vanguard engrams will be a virtual currency and will live exclusively on the rank progress bar on Commander Zavala. Vanguard engrams may be opened individually by players directly on Zavala. Vanguard gear focusing. You can focus Vanguard engrams directly into either Vanguard armor or Vanguard weapons. Very nice. It's about time we got that. Vanguard engrams do not need to be claimed in order to be spent on focusing. So similar to Crucible and Iron Banner. Also very nice. Individual pieces of gear must have been acquired at least once prior to being available for focusing. Vanguard armor set available for focusing in Season 20. Photo Suede set. Class item not focusable, as class items do not have base stats. Makes sense. Vanguard weapons available for focusing in Season 20. Xenoclast, Third Axiom, Royal Entry, Empty Vessel, Punching Out. Punching Out is a very good sidearm, by the way. Very good sidearm. Fortissimo 11, Strident Whistle, Pure Poetry, also a very good weapon, but stats-wise and stuff, it's good. I'm not as big a fan of it. Prolonged Engagement, the new SMG, so that's all pretty nice. Brand new Vanguard weapons are drop only for a single season and are then available for focusing the following season. So also like our other vendors here. Zavala's focusing options will expand further during following seasons. Nightfall weapon focusing. Okay, Zavala will offer Nightfall weapon focusing. Nightfall weapons must have been acquired from Nightfall strikes at least once before being available for focusing. Nightfall weapon focusing cost: 1 Vanguard engram, 20,000 Glimmer, 50 legendary shards. The legendary shards is reasonable. 20,000 Glimmers is it's not too bad, but it's quite a lot. Nightfall weapons available for focusing in Season 20, the Malicious Birthright, Mindbender's Ambition, Wendigo, Hung Jury, the Swarm. So Swarm is coming back, I guess, and Buzzard. Probably Mindbenders and Swarm are the only ones I really care about here, to be honest, personally. Adept Nightfall Ciphers. When completing Grandmaster Nightfalls, in addition to previously existing rewards, players will also acquire Adept Nightfall Ciphers. The number of ciphers that players earn depends on whether players qualify for Platinum, Gold, or Silver rewards at the end of the Nightfall. Number of ciphers awarded per GM Nightfall completion score: Platinum 2, Gold 1, Silver 0. Yeesh. Probably would have been better to have Platinum 3, Gold 2, Silver 1, but, we'll see how that turns out. For a deeper breakdown, Nightfall weapon: 1 Vanguard engram, 20,000 Glimmer, 25 legendary shards, 0 Adept Nightfall Cipher. Adept Nightfall weapons. You can focus Adept Nightfall weapons now. Very interesting. 3 Vanguard engrams. Jeez. 50,000 Glimmer. Holy shit. 50 legendary shards. That's still fine. 10 Adept Nightfall Ciphers. So, okay. That will at least help us get the god rolls we want, I guess. Focusing costs. Adept Nightfall Focusing. Zavala will offer a single Adept Nightfall weapon for focusing each week, matching the Nightfall weapon currently in rotation. Adept Nightfall weapons available for focusing in Season 20. Malicious Birthright, Mindbender. Yeah, same thing. So, similar to how Saint is with Trials currently, I guess. Legacy Gear Focusing. Okay, here we go. Vanguard and Nightfall Focusing isn't the only big update that Focusing will get. In fact, every ritual will see growth in the number of items available for focusing as we introduce Legacy Gear Focusing. This system will allow players to obtain many pieces of gear from the last several years of Destiny 2, many of which have not been accessible for quite some time. So Crucible, armor sets available for focusing, Swordflight, Phoenix Strife, Anka Seeker, Wing Contender, Wing Disciple, Wing Theorem, Cinder Pinion, armor focusing costs. If a player has not acquired a piece of armor previously, 3 Crucible Engrams, 50 Legendary Shards, 10k Glimmer. If a player has acquired a piece of armor previously, 1 Crucible Engram, 25 Legendary Shards, 5000 Glimmer. Okay. Nightfall weapons available for Legacy Focusing. Plug 1, Uzume R4, the Hothead, the Comedian, Duty Bound, Silicon Neuroma, DFA, Horror's Lease. Okay, so we know that these two are leaving, I guess, but why on earth would they not have had Palindrome in here? Like, imagine having the Comedian and Duty Bound, or hell, imagine having DFA, but not Palindrome. That's really odd. I cannot imagine why you wouldn't have Palindrome in here. Note, Adept versions of Legacy weapons will not be available for focusing. That really sucks. Really sucks. Okay, whatever. Nightfall weapon focusing cost. If a player has not acquired the weapon previously, 7 Vanguard Engrams, 100 Legendary Shards, 10,000 Glimmer. Okay. If a player has acquired the weapon previously, 3 Vanguard Engrams, 25 Legendary Shards, 25k Glimmer. Alright, that's fine, I guess. Vanguard armor sets available for Legacy Focusing. The Took Offense, the Shelter in Place, Xenos Veil 4, Phobos Warden, Vigil of Heroes. Vanguard armor focusing cost. If a player has not acquired a piece of armor previously, 3 Vanguard Engrams, 50 Legendary Shards, 10,000 Glimmer. If a player has acquired the piece of armor, 1 Vanguard Engram, 25 Legendary Shards, 5,000 Glimmer. Okay. Gambit. Gambit armor sets available for Legacy Focusing, Calamity Rig, Ancient Apocalypse. Gambit armor focusing cost, 3 Gambit Engrams, so same deal. No Legacy weapons though. Very kind of a bummer. Interesting though. I would have kind of hoped that like spare rations, bygones, some of those weapons would be in here, but that's interesting. So man, they, for whatever reason, they just don't want to bring those back. So Iron Banner weapons available for Legacy Focusing, Arkan's Thunder, Reeswalker, Occluded Finality, Forge's Pledge, Peace Bond, Frontier's Cry is leaving, I guess. So here's the issue I'm having with Legacy Focusing so far. I do not understand their weapon choices here. Like, when looking at Iron Banner, why would you have like Arkan's Thunder or Forge's Pledge over something like Steady Hand, Criminal's Dagger, that sort of thing? It seems I don't understand it. Like, for Legacy Focusing, they should have weapons here that haven't been available for a long time. That should be the focus. But Frontier's Cry, this is still a relatively new weapon. We've had it for only like a few seasons now. I would rather just see this go and have Steady Hand or Criminal's Dagger. Iron Banner armor sets available for Legacy Focusing, Iron Forerunner, Iron Will, Iron Truage, Iron Fellowship, Iron Remembrance. That's pretty nice. There's a lot of really nice looking Iron Banner armor from previous years, so definitely keep an eye on those, at least for Transmog. Iron Banner gear focusing cost. If a player has not acquired a piece of Iron Banner gear previously, 7 Iron Engrams, 100 Legendary Shards, 10,000 Glimmer. If a player has acquired a piece of Iron Banner already, 3 Iron Engrams, 25 Legendary Shards, 25k Glimmer. Note here for my newer players, real quick, with this Legacy Focusing, definitely go for a Reeswalker. Very good shotgun. Lightweights aren't as good as they were, but Reeswalker's still very good. Trials of Osiris weapons available for Legacy Focusing. Shayura's Wrath, very nice. Reed's Regret, Aish's Embrace, Burden of Guilt, Forgiveness. Okay, here's what I mean here. When we're talking about Legacy Focusing, imagine unironically having Aisha's Embrace and Burden of Guilt instead of the Messenger and Igneous Hammer. Why? Why would you do that? Like, these are weapons still. We only lost this one. We might have even just lost it was this season or last. It was very recent. Same thing with, presumably this is leaving next season. So why not put older weapons in here? Why can we not have the Messenger or Igneous Hammer in here? I don't understand their choices here. So I'm a lot less excited about this now, just based on the weapon choice. If it changes at some point and we see a lot more of the weapons that we haven't seen in a long time for these activities, such as Igneous, the Messenger, Criminal's Dagger, so on and so forth. If we see older weapons, like much older weapons inside of the legacy pools, then I'll be more excited. But currently, I'm just not real happy with these choices here. It's just not that great. Trials of Osiris armor sets available for Legacy Focusing, Pyrrhic, Ascent, and Exile. Trials of Osiris gear focusing cost. If a player has not acquired a piece of Trials armor or a piece of Trials of Osiris gear previously, 7 Trials Engrams, 100 Legendary Shards, 10,000 Glimmer. Same cost. We get this now. It's items like shaders, emblems, ghost projections, and other cosmetics that players could previously earn in the game will be added to match rewards. This means players who missed out on cosmetic rewards in the past have a chance of receiving rewards like the Carminica shader or the Red Jack projection at the end of a match. Okay, well, that's nice, I guess. As of Season 20, we will see Legacy match rewards implemented for Crucible, Vanguard, Gambit, and Iron Banner. Details for Legacy match rewards for Trials of Osiris will come down the road, so we're not even seeing this yet, for Trials at least. Lower focusing costs. We reduce the cost of focusing across the board when focusing items that are currently in the Ritual Loot Pool available now. Crucible, Gambit, and Vanguard focusing will see the following costs. One Ritual Engram, Crucible, Gambit, or Vanguard, depending on the vendor, 5k Glimmer, 25 Legendary Shards. Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, and Nightfall focusing will see the following costs. 1 Ritual Engram, Trials, Iron Banner, or Vanguard, depending on the vendor, 20k Glimmer, 50 Legendary Shards. Okay. Adept focusing for Trials of Osiris and Nightfall weapon will see the following costs. 1 Ritual Engram, Trials or Vanguard, depending on the vendor, 50k Glimmer, 50 Legendary Shards, 7 win Trials ticket, or 10 Adept Nightfall. What? It doesn't say Flawless here. This is where I kind of get confused. I would have expected it to say Flawless Trials card here. Does this mean that you don't have to go Flawless anymore? I don't get it. I mean, to be honest, I don't really have a problem with that. I would rather see Adept weapons become a bit more accessible and maybe Flawless rewards still just be like the ship and that sort of thing. But that's very interesting. So just speculation, of course, but you might not need a Flawless Trials card to get Adept weapons now. You might just be able to get it on a 7-win card. Very interesting. There's the usual shakeup of the loot pool coming in Season 20. Here's what you need to know about what's on the way and on the way out. For loot to earn in Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, and Nightfall Strikes. Trials of Osiris weapons leaving in Season 19. Forgiveness, Sidearm, Burden of Guilt, Fusion Rifle. That's fine, didn't care about them anyway. Trials of Osiris weapons being added. Astral Horizon is back, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Astral Horizon was an aggressive kinetic shotgun. We lost it, I can't remember how long ago. It's been out of the loot pool for a while, but this was a really good shotgun. So assuming Bungie doesn't screw up the perk pool like they did with Mindbenders, this could be a very good choice. So keep your eye out for this one. Really good shotgun. The Immortal SMG. So 1 new and I guess 1 old. Iron Banner weapons leaving in Season 19. Razor's Edge, the sword, Frontier's Cry, the hand cannon. Razor's Edge at least look cool. Frontier's Cry, I can't stand it, so I don't have a problem with it leaving. Joram's Claw, Pulse Rifle. I feel like, I can't remember if that's an older weapon or if that's a new one. Okay, it's an old one. So, an old weapon. It's an old Pulse Rifle. Looks like, according to Light GG, looks one of the old Sunset ones, it looks like. Looks like this might have just been back. Yeah, with we still had static rolls. Okay, so it's a solar damage. Looks like a Suros 390. Interesting. Okay. Bite of the Fox Sniper. Bite of the Fox is a classic. I still have a couple of them, but this was such a good looking sniper too. So really happy to see that coming back at least. Still would have probably rather seen Steady Hand or Criminal's Dagger over Joram's Claw, but this is a really old weapon. It'll be interesting to see what perks it gets. Nightfall weapons leaving in Season 18. Horror's Least and DFA. You know, that isn't heartbreaking for me by any means. Buzzard, Sidearm. I have a hard time keeping a lot of the names straight, guys. I apologize. But yeah. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, I remember this guy. This is one that just looks really nice with the red dot and the kind of janky looking suppressor on there. But that's cool. The Swarm, that's fine. I feel pretty neutral on this. That's kind of like, you know, with these Nightfall weapons, I'm kind of take it or leave it with most of them, so that's fine. So okay, this looks very interesting as a whole. I think this is a good move. I am very curious about, again, the 7-win, where was that? For the Adept Trials guns. Yeah, 7-win Trials ticket. I could be wrong. That to me implies that you might not need a flawless Trials card to get Adept Trials weapons, which could be very, very interesting. My guess maybe is that you'll be able to get 7 wins, right, regardless of if it's flawless or not, and turn it in for one specific Adept weapon. But then after, you'll probably just have to go through an entire ticket again, unless you go flawless. Then, you know, presumably you can just sit in the flawless pool and try to get them that way. So that's interesting. I'm fine with most of this. This is what I'm mostly curious about. Like, the rest of this is good, but I don't care as much just because of the weapon selection. Like, I would have much rather seen, like, Igneous Hammer and Messenger come back instead of, again, like, Ashe's Embrace. Who cared about Ashe's Embrace? You know, or, for that matter, Burden of Guilt, Forgiveness. Like, again, Burden of Guilt and Forgiveness are 2 newer weapons. Take these out, at least, and give us older guns. Give us Messenger and Igneous here. I don't know. I don't get it. But this is pretty good. Definitely excited to see how this plays out. I think if it is the case, especially that you don't need 7 wins, a flawless card to get an Adept Trials weapon, that's probably a good thing, to be honest, because especially for me, Trials, my biggest problem with Trials is that I just don't like elimination as a game mode, so I hardly ever touch Trials, so I'm fine with that. So that's very interesting. A lot of very interesting changes coming to how we get our loot here. I don't know. Don't know what else to say until it shows up, I guess, but I hope that they will, you know, maybe change up that loot pool soon, because I really would rather be able to get some other weapons, you know, again, the ones that stand out, like Igneous Hammer, the Messenger, Criminal's Dagger, so on and so forth. But that's very interesting. Man, why didn't they give Ada Legacy focusing? Let us get some Black Armory guns. Give us something here. So, yeah, pretty interesting changes. We'll see how it turns out. But in summary, not a big fan of most of the weapons up for Legacy focusing. I think most of them are just too new. But that will probably change in the future. It wouldn't surprise me at all if at some point we did see Igneous Hammer again and some of those others. Big fan of the changes to Nightfall, Adept weapon focusing, and what appears to be a change to Trials weapon focusing. Doesn't look like you'll need to go flawless to get Adept weapons anymore. So, lots of good stuff here. We're going to keep our eye on this. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get some other stuff done. We have other things to talk about. So, I will see you all in the next video. Peace.